Welcome to Subramani. Assessing and managing financial risk or totally risk in your life is the most important thing that you have to do to grow your investment. So make no mistake, you have to take risk. If you don't take risk, you will not grow your wealth. So you have to take risk. But if you take too much risk, you will it will lead to financial ruin. What Rakesh Jhunjhunwala used to call responsible leverage, right? Or what Mukesh Bhai or Gautam Adani and all have done, or at least it looks like they have done, is to take responsible leverage. When you are not responsible for your leverage, when you take too much leverage, then what happens is like the other Ambani, where you will be led to financial ruin. So why am I talking about this? Because the key to increasing the probability of financial success is identifying the risk and managing it. And where is it tested the most? It is obviously tested the most when the markets are down. Right now the markets are down from its September highs of say 85,000. Definitely it is at least 10% down at the index level, maybe it is 20% down at the portfolio level. So what all should you do to manage that risk? So first, look at your risk tolerance. Now risk tolerance, assessing risk tolerance is the most important thing that a financial advisor should do and has to do. But unfortunately, in the during good times, people don't understand how much is their risk tolerance, right? So here they are sitting comfortably in your office, maybe in a big black leather sofa, very comfortably taking in the ambience. He's a 55-year-old man, he's alone, his wife is not there, and there is this 23-year-old girl asking him about his risk tolerance. This man in his bravado wants to say, oh, I can take as much risk as you say, and I will not panic when the market goes down, etc. Like Mike Tyson says, everybody has a perfect plan till you get punched in your face. So once you're hit in the market, when your portfolio falls 20%, maybe you're 55 years of age, you have 5 years to go for retirement, and when it falls, then there is panic. Then the wife and husband sit, or maybe the husband alone is panicking and saying, oh my god, I have to retire, what will happen, my corpus has fallen by 20%, now will I be able to retire, should I postpone my retirement, all that. So this is a good time to look at clients' risk tolerance, and I think it takes 4 or 5 years to really understand how much is a client's risk tolerance. Whatever questionnaires you have, online, offline, everything that you do, risk tolerance is something which is revealed only during bad times. Next, you should see the person's capacity for taking risk. People talk about taking risk, but people's capacity for taking risk is equally important as risk tolerance. You look at a person with a portfolio which has been wiped out partially by making bad investments, etc. He or she still comes back and says, can I take little more risk? So when I see a person with a portfolio where he has taken some risk and lost money, and or he says, no, this money is going to come back from Hyderabad, I've spoken to somebody, this money is going to come back from Goa, this money is going to come back from Ahmedabad. My answer is very simple. Yes, of course, it's fantastic, you have made an investment, it's your friend, it's your cousin, it's your relative, it's your ex-colleague, whatever it is superb, you have fantastic risk-taking ability, but further risk will have to come out of that money which comes back. So till then, don't talk about taking more risk. Till then, you stick to good quality mutual funds. You have no business going into PMS, you have no business going into AIF, you have no business putting money in somebody else's venture capital. Yes, you can put money in venture capital after you get back that money from Hyderabad, Chennai, Delhi, Chandigarh, after you sell that property, after your family dispute is settled, right? So the risk capacity also, it's difficult for your individual investor to understand. It is the job of the financial advisor over years to find out how much is their risk-taking capacity. Also, risk-taking capacity can change. For a person who is doing very well, say earning 2 crore salary, wife is a housewife, nice life, they are rich, they are reasonably wealthy, they have created some wealth. However, when he leaves a 2 crore job and does business, understand his risk profile has changed. Risk profile, risk-taking capacity, both have changed, because now his job, which was earlier like a debt fund, is now become like equity, because he's in his own business. So all the money that he's pumping in there right now to be treated as expenses, yes, it could come back, but remember, now it is equity, it is no longer debt, right? Maybe he was a professor somewhere and earning 30 lakhs, that's fine, but now if he's on his own, then the risk capacity, risk-taking capacity, everything changes, which he or she may not be able to understand. It's your job as a financial advisor to say that. Also understand that when the market falls, we all think, oh, it's a temporary fall, it will come back, which is true, because if you are a 60-year-old, you can handhold and say, look, the fall in the market is temporary, your portfolio has fallen, however, you are not touching your portfolio, you're only 55 years of age, you got 5 more years in which to build. By the time the market will come up, and you have enough, you have only 60% in equity, and the remaining 40% is nicely rock solid, which will give you current income. So this income which you get, adjusted for inflation, will be comfortable till your age of 70. So for the next 15 years, you're protected, right? So this is a very shallow risk. Market keeps falling 5%, 10% every day. May not be 5-10% every day, but 2%, 1% fall every day does happen. 10% falls happen maybe 3-4 times in a year, and there will also be once in your life when it could fall 50%. We need to be prepared for everything. We cannot be in denial saying it won't happen. So yes, so that will happen. So consider what is to be done, because this risk is inevitable. You cannot say this risk should not happen. Of course, this risk will happen. Then there is a deep risk of some portion of your capital where you put into companies which may not be too great, so you may lose your capital. You may have funded a cousin's business, you may lose it completely, right? So some of those things you have to be worried about. So that is the deep risk that we all run in our portfolio. It's a loss of capital, and it's likely that it won't come back, right? So this could be because of various things. It is not just because of market loss or bad choice that you made. It could be inflation, deflation, confiscation, devastation, taxation, anything. Because of all that, that is deep risk. That is complete loss of capital. It does happen to the best of us, right? You did some trading where you made losses, that is gone. It is deep risk. You have lost the money. Anything, I mean, some war, right? So 1945, you did not realize, but the money that you had invested in Lahore and Rawalpindi is gone. So that is confiscation. So some of these things can also happen. Be ready for such things. What should you do? If you have all your monies in India, you think, oh, India is not going to break up and all that, but you have some money abroad also, right? So make sure that everything is managed. You understand what is happening. Concentration risk. This I've seen for people with portfolio which is very skewed towards ESOP. So here will be a 20 crore portfolio, out of which 18 crores is in ESOP shares. It's a horrible way to be. So 90% in one share, it's too risky. You have to reduce that. So reduce your concentration risk. Concentration risk reduction for ESOP is very simple. Let us say you're getting 20,000 shares every year. Every month you should be selling off 500 shares or 1,000 shares on a particular date and putting into maybe a flexi cap fund or a BAF, right? So balance advantage fund. Put it into one of those funds, and your life will be taken care of. So do that. Reduce your concentration risk. That is important. Also make sure that during all this and very keenly investing, you forgot about liquidity. That should not happen. Your emergency fund should be in place. You should not need to touch it. Your emergency fund should be in place anyway. Apart from that, you should also have, say, 2-3 years expenses in debt fund which is available, liquid or bank fixed deposit, etc., so that you are not tempted to remove money from equity during bad times. So this is part of your risk handling. So but yes, it has to be said separately. Also keep looking at your CRISIL report, because CRISIL or whatever you want to look, your CIBIL report, not CRISIL, your CIBIL report, to see how is your score, because if your score is fallen for some reason other than you behaving badly or irresponsibly, make sure that there are no errors in your report. So get your report, see what's your score. Even if your score is good, there could be some errors. Keep looking for those errors, because once there is error, then getting rid of it is not going to be very easy. Interest rate risk on your bonds, as of now, the interest rates in India seem to be high when I'm making it, right? So the GSEC is almost at 7%. it could go further down. So when it goes down, your bond funds will do well, but your bank fixed deposits will get renewed at a lower rate. So remember that. So that interest rate risk in your portfolio. So when I'm saying risk in your portfolio, I'm not just talking of mid and small cap falling by 15% and large cap falling by 8%. All the other risks are also there, right? For example, if you are looking at mid and small cap today and you're scared because somebody said this should be sold, you may be right, because you may have a 2-year view. If I have a 20-year view, it is not a problem, right? So depending on your horizon that you have taken the risk for, that's also important, because when you were 60 you took some risk, and when you're doing this review, if you're 70, remember the horizon risk has changed. All the money that you have kept for the long term should now become medium term, because you may have only another 10 or 15 years to live. So it's no longer long term, it is so horizon risk. An unexpected life event, some job loss for younger people, some disability, death of a spouse, any of those things which change your horizon. So that is a horizon risk. Look at that. Another risk which is totally ignored by most of us is longevity risk. How long will you live? So people say, oh, my father lived till 72, I will live till 72. It's wrong. If your father lived till 72, it's perfectly possible that you will live till 92. If your father died at 47, it is perfectly possible that you take better care of your health, etc., 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 and you will live till 92. I know 2 daughters of one man who died, who just smoked himself to death. His children are extremely fitness conscious. They go to the gym, they diet, they eat healthy and all that. So both of them are now in their 40s and they're perfectly fit. So their father died when he was in his 40s, right? So take care of all these things. Your longevity risk is also there. So with all the first 7-8 risks that we spoke about, take care of your longevity risk also, because your capital has to last at least one day after your death, right? Your capital cannot die before you die. It's a simple philosophy. So take care of all this. So during a bear market or during the market downturns, I wouldn't even know whether we are in a bear market. This is the time when you look at all your risk and say, oh, this risk also I have to take care of. Thank you.